Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Jen, and this is A Better Life with Jen. In today's video, I'm going to take you through a full day of eating. Now, I will include macros for each meal and a total at the end. I try to design meals that are simple, quick, tasty, and well balanced. I try to make sure that I get healthy fats, proteins, and carbohydrates at every meal. Now, I am looking to add some muscle, so my calorie targets are specific for me. Remember, what works for me may not work for somebody else, so I don't want you to take this as what you should be eating. This is just a typical day of what I eat, trying to have well-balanced meals throughout the day to sustain all of my activity. So come along as we have a full day of eating. So the first thing we're going to start with is my pre-workout snack. Now, I always work out first thing in the morning, and so I like to have something with some quick digesting carbs to help me fuel that workout. This morning, I'm actually going to go for a run. So my snacks of choice pre-workout are usually either a Pop-Tart or sometimes a Rice Krispie treat, something that's really fast digesting. Today, I'm going with a Pop-Tart. So I have this happens to be the flavor of frosted cinnamon roll. And this Pop-Tart in a single one has 5 grams of fat, 35 grams of carbs, and 1 gram of protein. So I'm going to go ahead and eat this, get my workout on, and then I'll catch you back when it is time for the next meal. So I just finished my run, and I always like to grab a quick little snack, get some protein in before I go shower, get ready for the day, and then make a good breakfast. So what I like to have is this twisted dough protein batter. I love this stuff. It's a high protein, has the consistency almost of like cookie dough. This is a berry cheesecake flavor, and this stuff tastes great. So I usually have a serving of this after my workout as I'm starting to get, ready to go to work or ready for the day before breakfast. And for the macros for this, it has 2 grams of fat, 5 grams of carbs, and 10 grams of protein in a 30 gram or 2 tablespoon serving. So I just have a nice big spoonful of this. It tastes great, but a really good way just to get some easy, quick protein with a good taste before I get on with the rest of my day. So I'm gonna have this, and then I will come back when it is time for breakfast. All right, well, I am showered and ready, and it is time for breakfast. So today I'm gonna go ahead and make a breakfast because it is the weekend, so I'm home. Now, normally during the week, I make something like overnight oats or something that's easy and quick, and I usually end up eating it at work. But because I'm home, I'm gonna make something a little more involved. So I'm gonna make my version of an avocado toast. I don't really like plain avocado, but I do like guacamole, so I'm actually gonna use guacamole. So the ingredients that I'm gonna use, I have a whole wheat English muffin that I've just already lightly toasted in the air fryer. I use that for toasting. I just put it on a piece of parchment paper in case anything spills over. It's easy to clean up. I have these Egg Life egg white wraps. If you've seen me use these before, I love these. They're just made with egg whites. They're super easy and already done, and much easier than cooking up an egg. I have a little guacamole cup, and then I have a serving of this. This is a reduced fat Mexican style cheese. I just buy this already shredded. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 1/2 with the guacamole and the egg, and then 1/2 with egg and cheese, and then eat them open faced. So I think this is gonna be really good. So I'm gonna start with a little bit of cheese on 1/2 here. And all of this cheese may not fit, so I'll just end up eating the rest. And then I'm going to use 2 of these egg wraps, 1 for each half of the English muffin. And I'm just going to fold this in quarters. And I think I'll put a little bit more cheese on top that will melt and hopefully not fall off. And then the other one, I'm gonna go ahead and do the guacamole. So I'm gonna do some of this guacamole cup and just spoon that right on there. And like I said, as with the other one, all of this might not fit. So if it doesn't, I will just end up eating the guacamole because I really do like guacamole. And then I'm gonna take another one of these egg white wraps. As you can see, they're pliable. You can use them for wraps. You can, just eat them plain, whatever you want, but super versatile. And then I am going to throw this back in the air fryer just for a quick second, just to kind of warm it up, melt a little bit of this cheese, warm up everything, and then I will show you the final product. All right, so here is the finished product. The cheese got a little bit toasty on top, but that's okay. It's gonna be great. So like I said, 1/2 is the avocado, 1/2 is the egg and cheese on the English muffin. And this meal comes out to be 16 grams of fat, 35 grams of carbs, and 23 grams of protein. So overall, a really well-balanced meal. I like to get at least 20 grams of protein with every meal. Has some nice healthy fats from the avocado and the cheese, and then the carbohydrates mostly from the English muffin. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat this, and then I will catch you when it is time for lunch. All right, well, I am back and it is time for lunch. So I love vegetables, and I always have a big serving of vegetables at lunch and then always a salad with dinner. So here for my vegetables, I just have some frozen, it's an Oriental blend. I just buy the big, huge bag at Costco. Love it. Just throw it in the microwave for a couple minutes. It has carrots and broccoli and mushrooms and green beans and water chestnuts. And then I just put a little tiny bit of low sodium soy sauce as a seasoning on it. So like I said, I will always have a big serving of vegetables, whether that's broccoli, carrots, a mixed vegetable, something at lunch. And then I always want to make sure I have a carbohydrate source and a protein source, and then some fats in there as well. So for my protein, I love Greek yogurt. Love it, love vanilla. So today I'm going with an Oikos 000 vanilla Greek yogurt. And then for my carbohydrate and fat source, so this is the protein source. For my carbohydrate and fat source, I have a serving of this Safe and Fair granola. I really love their brand. This is chocolate chip cookie dough. They have a bunch of flavors. Their birthday cake is phenomenal. This is gluten-free, it's vegan, it's free from the top allergens, which is I think why they call it Safe and Fair, but really, really good, really tasty granola. So I have a serving of that, which I will stir into the yogurt and just give that a little texture and a little crunch. And then, like I said, the vegetables, just throw them in the microwave a couple minutes. This whole meal took me like the 2 minutes to put together that I threw the vegetables in the microwave. So very, very easy. And this comes out to 5 grams of fat, 42 grams of carbs, and 23 grams of protein. So really well balanced, super quick, tasty, easy meal. So I'm gonna have this for lunch, and then I will be back with an afternoon snack. So it is time for a little snack, just something small to tide me over until dinner. And today I am having a Dive Bar Bite. So this is like a half-size protein bar. So it's like a mini little protein bar. This is in the flavor salted caramel pretzel. And Dive Bar is a brand that I found that I order online, and they're amazing. Their texture is fabulous. And this has 3 grams of fat, 12 grams of carbs, and 8 grams of protein in this little thing. So I'm gonna have this, then in a little bit, I'll start working on dinner. All right, well, it is time for dinner. And tonight for dinner, I'm actually having a turkey burger. Now, one thing that I love to do is ingredient prep. So you've probably heard of meal prep, but I like to ingredient prep. And what that means is when I'm cooking something like chicken or whatever, I will cook an extra amount of it so that I can use it throughout the week. So I got these turkey burgers at Costco a little while ago. And the only thing that's in them is ground turkey and seasonings. So really, really nice. And I just grilled up a bunch of them last night. And that way I can use them throughout the week. They're already ready. So really, really easy. These are great. They're 3rd pound burgers, so they're a good size. And they have 30 grams of protein in each one. So really great source of protein there. And then I just used a little bit of the cheese that I had left over from breakfast this morning that didn't fit on my English muffin. So I just melted a little bit of that cheese on there that was left. And then for my bun, I love these. These are pretzel buns. These are from Trader Joe's and they're amazing. They taste phenomenal. So I'm gonna go ahead and then I just have a salad because like I said earlier, I love vegetables and I always have salad with dinner. I love using these Walden Farms dressings, and this one happens to be Buffalo Ranch. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that on my salad. And then I am just going to use ketchup and mustard on my burger. I love mustard and I really do like ketchup as well. So we'll start with a little mustard on here and then a little bit of ketchup. And I get my ketchup at Sprouts and this is a reduced sugar and reduced sodium. So that makes it really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat this, but let me tell you the macros first. This comes out to be 20 grams of fat, 64 grams of carbs, and 43 grams of protein. So a great dinner here. I'll finish this off and then I will be back later to wrap up the day and with a little after dinner treat. Well, I always like to finish my night with a little sweet treat, and I usually do that in the form of some sort of protein bar. So I'm gonna do that tonight. And the one that I'm having today is actually these Legendary Foods, they're called, and this is a protein pastry. So it's like a protein Pop-Tart. I love these. I've found that people either love them or hate them. I really like the texture of them. I love the taste. So I'm gonna have this tonight. And then a couple other things I wanna cover that I had during the day that I didn't show you, but I do wanna cover just because I do track them. I love chocolate and have a piece of chocolate every day. So this is a little mini Twix bar. It tends to be my favorite type of chocolate. I also had a little piece of licorice earlier today. And then I like to use in my soda a part of a vanilla protein shake. And right now I am using the Muscle Milk Pro. So this whole one has 40 grams of protein and I use about a quarter of it in my Diet Dr. Pepper, Diet Pepsi, whatever diet soda you want, and it tastes amazing. So this gives me an extra 10 grams of protein. So with the protein Pop-Tart and then the other stuff that I've had throughout the day, the part of this, the chocolate, the licorice, this comes out to be 14 grams of fat, 47 carbs, and 31 grams of protein. So my total for the day came out to 65 grams of fat, 240 grams of carbohydrates, and 139 grams of protein for total calories of 2,101. So overall, great day. You know, when you see these full days of eating, I often ask myself, is that a typical day? Is that how they really eat? Or is it because they're filming? I can assure you this is a very typical day. So one thing about, if you know me, I am a regimented person. I do things the same way all the time. And so I tend to eat the same things all the time. I literally do have Greek yogurt just about every day for lunch. So this was an extremely typical day, very similar to what I eat just about every day. So hopefully you enjoyed this full day of eating. Like I said, my calories, macro targets are specific for me, my activity level, and my goals. So they're not gonna be appropriate for you, but just I wanted to give you sort of an idea of what I have during the day as somebody who tries to focus on protein, overall energy, and then making things quick and easy, because as much as I love to cook and spend all day cooking, I just don't have the time for it. So I try to make things quick and easy. If you did like this, go ahead and give it a like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Comment if you'd like to see more full days of eating, or if you have any specific types of eating that you would like to see or questions on this. And as always, I appreciate everyone watching, and I will see you next week with another video.